Hey guys, it's Bro You Whack, and being an Overwatch player, I couldn't go a single day without getting asked the question, do you think Marvel Rivals is better than Overwatch 2? And today, we're finally gonna answer that. Now going in this video, you might think that I'm gonna be biased towards Overwatch, being that I played this game for 8 years, but you have to remember, nobody hates Overwatch more than an everyday Overwatch player, so I'm gonna try to be as unbiased as possible because the goal of this video is, yes, to answer the question if one is better than the other, but to also show Blizzard and Marvel Rivals where they both can improve. So I chose 5 areas to compare both games in. The first are going to be the characters slash heroes. The second is going to be the overall gameplay. Third are going to be microtransactions. Fourth, and something that I didn't think I was going to have to measure, are the graphics, optimization, UI, and just overall gameplay feedback loop. And the fifth, that is a lot harder to measure but easier to just feel, is the overall addictive feeling that you get from a video game. So without further ado, let's finally compare the two games and figure out what is better, Marvel Rivals or Overwatch 2. The heroes are the driving force of both of these games. If you have terrible characters, it doesn't matter how good and polished the game is, it's going to be boring to play. And fortunately, or unfortunately depending on how you look at it, both games offer a wide variety of characters to play. But more surprisingly, upon launch on day one, Marvel Rivals has 33 total heroes to play compared to Overwatch's 42 heroes. And if you look at the day one launch of Overwatch, Overwatch launched with only 21 heroes. So on the surface, it might seem like Marvel Rivals has Overwatch beat just based on pure numbers. But remember, quantity doesn't always equal quality. But god dang, that's where Marvel Rivals might have Overwatch beat, because even on day one, the quality of each of these characters are just so good. Having 33 heroes in Marvel Rivals means that you're almost guaranteed to find someone that you vibe with the most. Even if you have a favorite superhero, more than likely, you're not gonna actually play that superhero because they might not match your playstyle. And that was my biggest issue with Marvel Rivals in the beta, was going into it, I really wanted to play Spider-Man. He's my favorite superhero of all time. I grew up on the Tobey Maguire movies, so I want to be a Spider-Man main, but when I played it, my god, he was so difficult. I'm not gonna say he was terrible because this might just be a skill issue, but I did not vibe with him. But then I discovered Jeff the Shark, my precious little guy. But I don't know where Jeff the Shark is from. All I knew is I loved his hero kit, and he was just simply adorable. And that's a really good thing about Marvel Rival heroes, and also a bad thing, is that you have a lot of fans that go into this game wanting to be a main of a specific superhero, but if they don't vibe with a hero kit, they're going to be extremely disappointed. Whereas with Overwatch characters, they were built from the ground up, or inspired from TF2, which had this long-lasting benefit, building this connection of a player to a hero. Players were more willing to find a character that matched their playstyle and then loving that character afterwards. Whereas with Marvel Rivals, it's backwards. They love a character in their backstory and have to learn to love their hero kit. So for an Overwatch player, this is a non-issue because you're just learn to adapt and find a character that you enjoy. But you have to remember, this is Marvel Rivals. Marvel is 10 billion times bigger than Overwatch, so it's supposed to attract Marvel fans, which there's a lot of, but a lot of Marvel fans are just gonna be casual players, just like me, that are a fan of a specific hero, and if they don't vibe with that hero, they're just not gonna vibe with the game. Like, the magic of a Marvel Rival hero is how a hero is adapted from a comic into the game, not really how it's played, which is why I'm not even bringing up the fact that a lot of Marvel Rival heroes are just a copy of Overwatch heroes. You look at Star-Lord, it's literally just Tracer and Reaper. You look at Psylocke, and it's literally just Sombra and a Genji combined into one. Hulk is literally just Winston. But I mean, hey, if hero abilities are fun in Overwatch, why wouldn't we want fun abilities in Marvel Rivals? Which is why I don't have that much of an issue. But again, a lot of the magic is lost in that because I've already experienced this in Overwatch, where the magic is in Marvel Rivals, like I said before, is turning a comic book character into a shooter character. So when trying to decide which one is better when it comes to the characters, this is really difficult because Marvel Rivals is better when it comes to sheer numbers upon day one launch, and also being able to have the luxury of choosing from different characters from different universes, but Overwatch has the benefit of having technically more characters, but also having unique characters and unique abilities. So I'm just gonna say it's a wash here. Both are great in their own right, but if you're a bigger fan of Marvel, you're probably gonna like Marvel Rivals based on the characters more than just Overwatch. The gameplay, the meat and potatoes of a video game. Which one is better, in Marvel Rivals or in Overwatch? Well, you have to remember, Overwatch has 8 years of experience gameplay, where Marvel Rivals has 2 days if you don't count the beta and the alpha. So because of that, take this with a grain of salt when I say that the gameplay in Marvel Rivals is miserable if you don't have a support character, or even if you have one support character that doesn't heal. That's, I think, even worse. You can't move forward as a squishy, and especially as a tank, if Jeff the Shark is not putting down those heal bubbles or spraying you with his water. No pause there, because I want him to spray me so bad, not only because he's adorable, but because I need it. I need a push as Venom, but I can't, because they have a Bastion-like hero and a Groot that is destroying me, because they have 2 supports that's actually healing each other. So after hearing that rant, you might say, okay, easy solution. Just force a team to have 2 supports on your team so that you're always gonna get a support character. That leads to a slippery slope that Overwatch is now suffering from 8 years later. If you add a role lock system into Marvel Rivals, you remove the fun factor. Oh, you're given freedom to choose whatever character you want. It doesn't matter if you have 6 DPS or 6 tanks. You can choose any character because we want you to create your own fun and freedom. When everyone has that same mindset, then that doesn't necessarily guarantee you an optimized team composition. So now you have to ask yourself, what's worth it in the long run, to have that freedom but possibility of imbalancedness, or to force a way of how to play a video game? Because that's exactly what role lock does, but it guarantees you the most balanced opportunity of gameplay. But this is honestly a player issue. When you look at actual gameplay issues, one of the biggest things that I want to talk about was the gameplay just feeling very overwhelming. You gotta think, this is not only a 6v6 game where everyone has tons of abilities, tons of colors happening all at once, but this is also at third person. So you're literally gonna have 12 bodies on your screen at once, and you might at one point even get confused on who's even on your team, not creating this very fluid-like gameplay. And luckily, the movement of most characters are pretty slow, with the exception of maybe Star-Lord and Spider-Man, but that's also another issue that I have, is that it feels very slow. It feels very clunky, especially for some mobile characters. Just overall, the gameplay doesn't feel as fluid. It feels very clunky for some characters, and it feels very like overwhelming for other characters as well. Whereas with Overwatch, it being in first person, I think just leads to a lot more easier time consuming what's actually happening on the field. While yes, it is very colorful in its own right, and you have 8 years of experience, with Marvel Rivals, man, it's tough to follow sometimes. So when it comes to gameplay, kind of in an unfair way, I'm gonna be giving this to Overwatch, not only because you have a very balanced team composition almost every single time, but I also just feel like you have an easier time consuming what's happening on the screen. Whereas with Marvel Rivals, maybe over time it can get easier, but man, it's just so overwhelming. Microtransactions are the lifeblood of a free-to-play game. You buy skin, you get more free characters down the road. That's just how it works. And I'm just gonna say it, Marvel Rivals gives Overwatch a run for its money when it comes to its microtransactions. Pun intended. When it comes to the Battle Pass in Marvel Rivals, it costs about $5 compared to Overwatch's Battle Pass that costs $10. However, you actually gotta look at what you get for that $5, because everyone loves to compare about price, but what about value? Well, in Rivals Battle Pass, you get 5 total skins compared to Overwatch's Battle Pass where you get 8, but you get a total of 23 items in the Marvel Rivals Battle Pass, where you get a total of about like 60 items or so in the Overwatch Battle Pass, not including the currency that you get at the levels, which you also get in Marvel Rivals Battle Pass. So while you can argue and say that you spend less on the Rivals Battle Pass, you also do get less compared to Overwatch's Battle Pass. However, where Rivals Battle Pass beats Overwatch's Battle Pass is the fact that you can complete the Battle Pass at any time after you purchase it. If you don't complete the Overwatch Battle Pass in their respected season, you can kiss all the items that you did not unlock goodbye. Whereas in Marvel Rivals, if the season ends and you don't complete the Battle Pass, well, you can still complete that Battle Pass. Don't worry, baby. So now let me ask you this. If Overwatch implemented that same system, you buy a Battle Pass, the season ends, and you can still complete that Battle Pass in the next season, would that make Overwatch's Battle Pass better than Marvel Rivals? This is part of the reason why I'm making this video, because if Overwatch decided to implement this battle pass system, allowing you to complete the battle pass in the following seasons, I honestly think this could make the Overwatch Battle Pass better than Marvel Rivals. But as of right now, the Battle Pass in Rivals is so much better. Same goes for the skins. Just based on pure price point, Marvel Rivals skins cost $14 compared to Overwatch's skin price at $19. And if you want to argue about the quality of skins, dude, in some cases, Marvel Rivals has skins beat when it comes to the quality of Overwatch skins. I mean, you just gotta take one look at that Psylocke skin costing $14 and look at that Kuriko Witch skin costing $19, and you have to say, yeah, that Psylocke skin is so much better. And you gotta think, down the road, Marvel Rival skins are just gonna be better and better because you have so many costumes from decades of comic books that you can just add for characters, especially for Spider-Man alone. Dude, there's at least 100 skins and costumes that you can give Spider-Man just from one comic series alone. And this is me not even mentioning the currency system, being able to buy skins with free currency or paid for currency, and also skin bundles. Just based on price and quality alone, Marvel Rivals has Overwatch beaten the microtransaction system. Maybe if Overwatch changes its battle pass system, there can be a slight competition, but as of right now, it's a clean sweep for Marvel Rivals. So surprisingly, I had to talk about graphics, optimization, and gameplay feedback loop because this is a huge part of a video game that I thought Marvel Rivals wouldn't really struggle with. My PC is having a tough time running this game at even the lowest settings, and you can say, oh, well, it's your graphics and it's your settings that you have, but like, I spent $2,000 on this computer, and the fact that other people that have spent way more money on their computers are also struggling to run this game at even 60 frames a second is kind of pitiful. Okay, but maybe graphics and optimization can be fixed down the road. Okay, whatever, but something that is in relation to graphics but also in relation to gameplay is the overall gameplay feedback loop. What gameplay feedback loop is basically whenever you shoot something, what is it feeding back to you as the player? How does it look? How does it feel in your heart? And I mean that, like, how does it feel to get that satisfaction back? And look, I'm not no gameplay designer that can really explain a gameplay feedback loop very well, but I can give you an example of this. So Venom has an ability that allows you to grab an enemy and it does damage slowly over time. When I use this ability and I actually latch onto the enemy, half the time I don't even know if I successfully latch that enemy into my grasp. As compared to something like a Roadhog hook, where once I throw it, I can hear if I latch onto the enemy, I see them being brought back to me with more further sound effects, and I successfully completed that latch on ability. Whereas with Venom, if I latch on the enemy, I don't even know if I'm doing damage afterwards. Like, there's just so much missing feedback that I feel like from abilities, not only just based on sound design and gameplay visuals, but on top of that, just being piled over with all the other visual things going on in the game. Like, again, I've already complained about this, but there's just so much going on in Marvel Rivals that it's hard to keep track of what I'm doing, what my allies are doing, what the enemy team is doing, that I just slowly over time start to lose this satisfaction of playing a video game. Half the time, I'm just using abilities thinking something will happen. This is just a couple examples of numerous issues with so many heroes when it comes to gameplay feedback loop, that when comparing the two, I feel like this is what Overwatch has over Marvel Rivals, is being able to give this satisfying feedback to the player when playing a character, but also being able to absorb what's happening on the screen. And the final thing that is a little bit more intangible is the addictive feeling that you get when playing a video game. And this is a little bit more tailored to you. This really tells you if a game is made for you, because no matter what I talked about in this video about graphics and microtransactions, the characters and gameplay, if you are addicted to a game, like if you want to play this game more than you want to sleep, that's a sign of a good video game. And for me, I've had that addictive feeling all the way back to Call of Duty Black Ops 1 and Halo 3, as recent as Red Dead Redemption 2, Spider-Man, PlayStation 4, and Mario Odyssey, and especially with Overwatch. I remember when I was in college and Overwatch just came out, I had an accounting exam and I had to contemplate playing Overwatch more than going to an exam that count for 10% of my grade. I went to the exam and I didn't do that well, but that just goes to show how addicted I was to playing Overwatch. And for me, when it comes to Marvel Rivals, I play it and I have fun. Like, it's a fun video game. I don't dread my experience unless I don't get any supports on my team. That's the only time I actually dread playing Marvel Rivals. But for me, I don't want to play this game for 8 hours a day. For me, when it gets to 2 a.m., I want to go to bed. I don't want to spend time playing Marvel Rivals. That doesn't mean that it's a bad game. No, because I enjoy playing Jeff the Shark. I enjoy playing Marvel Rivals, but like I said before, I'm not addicted to this game. Maybe that can change with the competitive mode, but if I don't get that addictive feeling in quick play, why would a competitive ladder that shows to everyone else how much better I am make me want to play this game any longer? Like, the same addictive feeling that I get in Overwatch, I get in quick play, I get in competitive, I just keep wanting to play more and more. Maybe it's because Overwatch is more satisfying to play, more fluid to play in my personal opinion, and that's the reason why I love playing Spider-Man PS4, is because I just love swinging. I just want to swing throughout, and it's ironic because I hate swinging in Marvel Rivals, and that's why I don't like Spider-Man, because the swinging is atrocious. But the point that I'm trying to make here is that I'm just not addicted to Marvel Rivals like I was to Overwatch, or even shoot, Fortnite OG. Like, right now, I want to play Fortnite OG. I want to play that more than Marvel Rivals. But overall, does that make Marvel Rivals a better game than Overwatch? Here's how I'm gonna answer this. If you're a Marvel fan, you're gonna like Marvel Rivals way more than Overwatch. That's a go figure. But if you're an Overwatch fan and you're sick and tired of Blizzard, you're sick and tired of microtransactions, and you're sick and tired of how they're handling the game, and you want something that is gonna be improved over time, slowly over time, then congratulations, you found your next video game. But if you're an Overwatch player and you have fun in Overwatch, like you genuinely have, like I genuinely have fun in Overwatch, and yeah, I'm pissed off at Blizzard and the microtransactions, then you're gonna be like me and you're gonna like Overwatch more than Marvel Rivals. Marvel Rivals doesn't do everything better than Overwatch, but where it does do better, it's not like Overwatch lacks in that. It has great characters, it has decent gameplay, and it has microtransactions that, okay, maybe the microtransactions in Rivals is better than Overwatch, but it still has microtransactions that can cost a pretty penny. Marvel Rivals will have its place in gaming, just like Overwatch will still continue to have its place in gaming even 8 years later. I mean, every single year, there's a game that's supposed to dethrone Overwatch, and Fortnite is probably the biggest competitor that's ever had, maybe Valorant in recent time, but with Marvel Rivals, yeah, it'll take some fans away, but I think both will live peacefully in harmony. And that's my thoughts on if Marvel Rivals is better than Overwatch. It is in some areas, but not in every area. But until the next Overwatch video, I love you guys. Thank you guys for watching more Overwatch 2, and maybe one more Marvel Rivals video to come, and bye.